Welcome to our latest edition of State of the Seas. Today, we're really excited to be bringing information to you directly from Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, and we just had a group actually sail out of New Jersey. So before we get started, let's go ahead and share a quick little video because, of course, the wait is over. We are excited to finally be back cruising, and this is for you. So lots of exciting things happening in the world of Royal Caribbean, and we want to share with you today, not only, of course, the wait is over, it's time to get back on the seas again, the latest protocols that are going on, and why Royal Caribbean is the right cruise line for you and maybe the right time to be out cruising. And of course, we've got some wonderful ship shop itineraries, exclusives and things like that for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the state of the seas. For those that haven't met me before, I'm Brett Isaacson, president of Friendship Tours, and I'm thrilled to be doing our latest edition of State of the Seas. And joining me on the call today, of course, is going to be two of our wonderful staff, Donna Milliken and Barbara has jumped on as well, Hackanyos, so we're really excited about that. But we're specially joined today with Gail Goldberg from Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. So we are thrilled to have you guys all joining us today. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Brett.
And so, as we said, our topics for the day, the wait is over, latest protocols, why Royal Caribbean is the right choice for you, and those wonderful itineraries. We're going to be featuring the Mediterranean Greek Isles. We've got a wonderful brand news of the Oasis of the Seas coming to New Jersey. So that's going to be doing a Florida and Bahamas itinerary. We also have a special transatlantic, kind of a ship shop exclusive pricing. And that is a trip that we've done a variation of in the past, but is really special. And that's going to be going from Copenhagen. It does Norway, Iceland, and Greenland. And then not even yet up on our website, which you can find all of these at friendshiptours.net. friendshiptours.net. Under the ship shop page, you'll see coming soon that we're going to have a November 2022 Western Caribbean, and that's actually going to be sailing from Tampa. And with all of these packages that I just talked about, we do a lot of special things where we include transportation and lots of others. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, the wait is over. It's time. If you have thought about cruising and you haven't gotten ready and booked your cruises for 2022, or maybe even you still want to try to squeeze something in this year, it is time to get going. And with that said, Donna, I know this past weekend you were bringing a group of ours down to the New Jersey Pier.
Yes, it was so exciting because it has been a long 15 months of not sending passengers on board a cruise. So I personally wanted to be on board this coach, and it was so exciting when we saw the ship come into view for the first time. You could feel the excitement building on the coach, and everybody that had been waiting for such a long time, the day was finally here. So yes, it was incredible.
And these are some of the shots of some of the people on the way down. And of course, that's you in the lower left-hand corner there.
Yes,
and there are some changes. So for people who haven't been cruising, they do need to be aware of some different protocols and things, part of which, of course, they can see that there's some masks there. But do you want to share a little bit about the experience getting the group ready to get on the seas again and just give them a quick update?
Yeah, so Royal Caribbean's done a great job. They have an app that is very user-friendly. So our passengers have downloaded the Royal Caribbean app. They're able to check in. They're able to check out what the protocols are. We walked them through any changes that were being made, one of which they needed to have a COVID test, a rapid test, or a PCR test 2 days prior to sailing. And so then they can upload their vaccine cards right to the app. So that's ready to go. And we get down to the pier, and everybody with all of their little check boxes marked off, they were able to board once they were into the terminal. In like 10 to 15 minutes, they were in their cabin. So it was pretty great. Such a good system. We had the comfort of the motor coach to wait till it was our check-in time.
So a
So
little
once it
bit
was our,
different, right?
yes,
They'll see
yes,
there's that line there,
exactly. There was
and
a
that's
line, but
all because of
those people,
timing, right? So each person has a
exactly.
specific time.
Right, we didn't, ooh, sorry, sounds scratchy on my end. The line we were able to bypass when it was our turn, and just walked right on through, and everybody was, wow, this is nice to be with Friendship Tours. It felt pretty good, yes.
So some of those special things that our ship shop actually does, and that's the division of Friendship Tours that handles all of our cruises. We have tour directors that actually on these trips will bring them from their pickup points down to the pier or to the airport, or whichever way that they're going when they're on one of our group departures. And we've helped them ahead of time, right? Because some people are a little
Yeah.
afraid of technology. Do you want to talk a little bit about
Absolutely.
that?
Sure. So we were able to help them to a certain extent. The app was so user friendly. They were even able to watch the muster drill video before they got off the bus. And then when they got on the ship, all they had to do was go to their muster station and check in, and they didn't have to wait. There's no more muster drills. So with a little bit of preparation, a little bit of guidance, everybody made it perfectly fine. And they are, from the pictures we're seeing on Facebook, they're having a really great time right now in the Bahamas, and I'm very jealous. So
So
it's been good.
that's a quick kind of idea of some of the reality of actually being on the cruise, what's happening. Now, these things change constantly. So everything that we knew, 3 months ago or even in June has changed today. So we are constantly keeping up with all of these protocols to make sure that the experience is absolutely smooth. These are some of the CDC guidelines. What a lot of people don't know, Gail, is that the cruise industry, they actually have had to go through a lot more protocols than almost any other industry. And I know sometimes people remember hearing in the news about different, examples of where this outbreak or that outbreak. What a lot of people don't know is the only vacation industry that is required to report to the CDC is actually the cruise industry. And that's a great plus because during COVID, they've had months of time to work, actually 76 different experts, and they had 75 different protocols that the industry decided that they would adhere to before they even got back on the seas. So these are a list of some of that, but it really created an environment that's cleaner, safer, better than ever before. Would you agree?
Totally. And just to kind of bounce off what you were just saying, Royal Caribbean, who I consider the leader of the pack in the cruise industry, actually hired 7 experts in different fields. And this was back in June of 2020. And these experts worked really hard day and night to come up with protocols so that we could get our ships in the water in a very safe fashion. And it was absolutely extraordinary because there was so much chaos going on in the industry, the travel industry in general. And Mr. Fain, who is the CEO of Royal Caribbean, said, no, we are going to do this safely. We're going to make sure our customers are safe and everything is taken care of. So after about, I would say 6 months of working with these experts, we came up with a list of criteria for what is really essential for our clients, you, to be safe. And I am very thrilled to hear that we are doing so well. Right now we have about 12 ships in the water, and every single ship is following the same protocol. And as Brett did mention, things do change. So we actually have a fantastic website that we are updating on a daily basis with updates about protocols, about masks, about any kind of vaccination. And so we are keeping you in communication. So it's very important to us.
Absolutely. And I put up on the screen just an example of that. And so some of these things that you may not know, but If you go to the grocery store right now, we don't know what each person around us, if they're vaccinated, not vaccinated, were they tested recently? We don't know that. When we're going on the cruises, we do, because right now it is required for adults to be vaccinated. Obviously, the children under 12 still can't be, but there are tests for each different group of individuals on before they get on there. So that's what we were talking about with those protocols. Originally, they were PCR tests. Now they're actually able to do different ones. And those are all listed right on that website that Gail was talking about. So if you have questions about what they're doing, what those safety protocols are, we're happy to go over that with you. And we just always feel it's important to make sure that you know these are in place. It's safer, cleaner, better than it's ever been done, and people are out and enjoying themselves. And with that in mind, we love to share a little bit of friendship tours in the ship shop, cruising on Royal Caribbean with you. This is actually a picture my wife took when we were on board another ship, and this is one of the wonderful Oasis class ships, so really neat, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But Gail, I think one of the things I love about Royal Caribbean is they have always been the leader when it comes to innovation and pushing the envelope of what maybe not what a cruise of our grandparents used to be, but what the cruise of the future might be. And so this is a video that just shares a little bit about the history of the cruise line.
Go ahead, live your best life. Best life. Maybe you could live it, we could go and get it, we could go and get it, we could go and get it. You could live it, we could go and get it, we could go and get it. Go ahead, live your best life. You could live your best life, best life, best life. Maybe you could live it, we could go and get it, we could go and get it, we could go and get it. Maybe you could live it, we could go and get it, we could go and get it. Go ahead, live your best life. You could live your best life, best life, best life.
And I always think that's just a little bit of fun. But some of our experiences as we've been on the different ships are you never know who you're going to see. So Donna, this is you and your mom, right?
Yes, we were on board the Allure of the Seas for the inaugural, and they were filming a movie with Adam Sandler. So I patiently waited until he was done playing basketball to ask for a photo, and he was gracious enough to do that, even though he said, "I'm completely sweaty, but you go for it. Here you go." It was fun.
So that's kind of some of the things that maybe people would think, oh, a basketball court, that kind of makes sense. But then the ship scale, I think that's one of the things that Royal Caribbean does better than just about any cruise line is all the different options for multiple ages. It's a great vacation for multi-generation. But if you love luxury, you've got it with some of the greatest suites at sea, all the way to some of the most economical options at sea.
Well, Brett, I have to say the thing about Royal Caribbean, I'm crazy about Royal Caribbean, is there's something for everybody. And when I got on the Anthem, and I knew that there were the bumper cars, and from my childhood, I love bumper cars. I went crazy, and for that 15 minutes, I felt like I was 5 years old again. And we have the whip fly, where you can go up and pretend that you're the simulated jumping out of airplanes, and we have the Bionic Bar. And one quick story about the Bionic Bar: we're the first cruise line to have computerized robots as bartenders. That they were designed after ballet dancers, so that when you go up to get your drink and you order a gin and tonic, they make the drink and it's like they're dancing, and it's extraordinary. It is super, super fun. But the thing that I just really love the most, and the best, is that there is something for everybody, no matter how old you are, no matter what if you want to just hang out and relax and read a good book, or if you want activity every day, Royal Caribbean is the best. And we have delicious food. And I have to say something. Since the pandemic, and we have returned to service, and I've been hearing this, I have not sailed yet, I'm going to be sailing soon. The staff on our ships are more than happy and enthusiastic to be taking care of everybody. Of course, everybody's been off the ship for like almost 2 years. So I think we have the best service. You better believe that anything that comes up, you'll be taken care of and treated like gold, because we will always treat everybody as if they're royalty.
And so, of course, we have our wonderful bionic bar, but don't worry, there are plenty of live bartenders out there, lots of different options, right? This is one of the innovations. This is actually off of the Anthem of the Seas. That little bubble is called the North Star. It goes up in the air, so you don't need to be jumping out of any, um, pretend parachuting or zip lining. There's plenty of things for every level. The reason I'm showing this cabin to you right now is Royal Caribbean's always innovating. So on many of the ships, you might have interior cabins with views. That was a big thing when the first promenades were done on many of the big ships. Then they did on the Oasis, they have different neighborhoods, so different options of where cabins had windows and things like that. This one is actually called a virtual balcony. It's actually a picture of the outside. And I always get a kick out of this because this was my nephew and niece's cabin. And in addition to the wonderful view of the ocean, it actually had sound from outside. So for the first 2 days, they couldn't figure out where the bird sound was coming. They had little birds going by. So always really fun. And I know, Gail, you were talking about the CEO of Royal Caribbean, and he really took the pandemic on and was at the leading front of the industry. And that's actually Richard Frame. That's Donna and her husband on board, and that's the Anthem. And of course, there she is doing some zip lining. So if you want to go active, then just to let you know, we do go on these ourselves. So this is actually two of our friendship family, the children, one of our employees, Natalie. This is actually her kids when they were on the Oasis. So you'll hear a little bit more about that. But lots of fun things. Again, her husband, always having fun. I think this one, if you see in between, you've got a picture of Donna's daughter and then Natalie's kids in there as well. And of course, entertainment. They are one of the leaders in entertainment. Donna, do you want to talk a little bit about this one?
Absolutely. So this is on the Anthem of the Seas, and you can see that this is from, I think, the 2-level bar, and the name is escaping me right now. But the 270 lounge on the left side, the entertainment in there is pretty crazy. During the day, this lounge is a cafe and just a meeting place, and then at night it transforms into this absolutely incredible showroom where they use video projections, and the whole room comes to life, and it just transforms the entire space. So it's like they're using lounges for multiple purposes, which is pretty cool. And then on the right, they have these live bands that are like cover bands, and the music is so good. I think, was this a Journey tribute band? I'm trying to think. Is that what it was? But they are so good. So there's something for everybody. And then maybe down the hall, you could be listening to some piano music or a string quartet.
Absolutely.
So you're going from lounge to lounge, experiencing lots of different, I think that's the music hall. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. The music hall. Yeah, it's a great space, and the bands are just amazing. So it makes you think you're right at a concert.
And so maybe this is a good time just to remind those that maybe haven't cruised before. Some of the reasons why people love cruising so much is, in essence, you're on a floating resort. So with your package, you're going to have not only your meals, you're going to have your entertainment, you're going to be going to some wonderful places. So of course you have your travel and your experiences while you're actually at the different places. You've got your drinks, you've got all these different things in one-stop shopping. Now, anyone that's ever done a trip where you go country to country to country in a motor coach, which can be really, really fun, you're often packing and unpacking and packing and repacking. Here, you basically unpack once, you enjoy your whole trip, and then at the end, you pack again and you're off. And I know,
Right.
Gail, that's one of the things that many of our clients, and I know when you were in the industry, was one of the things that you always loved was everything kind of in front of you.
Totally. And I think that if you've never gone on a cruise before and you're going to go with Friendship Tours, it's like a sure bet that you're going to have like the best time ever because they take care of everything. It's not like you have to worry about anything. That's what's so beautiful about group travel on our ships. And I've been working with Friendship Tours for a long time, and they are unbelievable. And they cross their T's and they dot their I's, and they love to take care of everybody, treat everybody like gold.
And
And
so
they're trusting Royal Caribbean, and we come through with the goods.
So it's all about making sure that we find the right product for the right person. And one of the things that I love is this is just a quick slide of all of the fleet that Royal Caribbean has. And so when we talk about some of these, you might have seen the zip lines and things like that. You've got ships, actually, I believe the Wonder of the Seas is about to come out, correct?
Yes.
And the Wonder of the Seas will be the largest ship actually at sea. All the way down, if you see in the lower right corner, you'll see a thing called the Vision class. That Vision class is about 1,400 people. It's actually less, it's 1,200 people that it holds on that ship. And that ship is only the same height as the Arch de Triomphe. If anyone has been watching, I remember those guys that did the wonderful arches in Central Park. Well, those same artists in that vein, they wrapped up the whole arch the other day. So if you ever look at that height, the Vision of the Seas is the same height as that. So unlike some of these 22 decks, this one is only 11. So there's a little something for everybody. And we were going to talk a little bit about some of the different product that you might be able to enjoy. If you go to our website, friendshiptours.net, we did want to highlight a couple trips that are up there. And Donna, I know the Greek Isles and the Mediterranean is one of the most popular itineraries, but this
Yes.
is something that we have up on the website now, and this is on the Vision of the Seas. Do you want to just share a little bit about this trip?
Absolutely. So this departs on May 20th of 2022. We have transportation included to the airport, which will most likely be JFK. So very simply, we leave from the Hartford area and we transport you to the airport, and you're off to Barcelona. When you land in Barcelona, you're met by Royal Caribbean representatives who will then transfer you to the ship, which is nice. So seamless vacation. Once on board the Vision, like Brett said, which is a medium-sized ship. And what's nice about that is on a busy itinerary like this, it's nice to be on a little bit smaller ship. So you're not having any issues on and off in each port, and just really get to know your ship and your staff. It's more intimate feeling. You'll spend 12 nights on board, and you're hitting so many awesome places. As you can see from the itinerary, we start off by visiting Cannes, France. Then we move on to Italy, where we actually stop in a port that you can access Florence or Pisa. We stop in Civitavecchia, which is the port for Rome, which is amazing if you haven't been. We have a day at sea to catch your breath and relax on the ship and enjoy everything the ship has to offer before we head over to the Greek Isles. So boom, 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 you're in Crete, Mykonos, Athens. Then you do make a stop in Turkey for Ephesus, as well as back to Santorini for Greece. So that picture you see up there on the flyer is a picture from Santorini, and there's nothing like seeing those bright blue skies with the whitewashed buildings. So after your
Blue domes.
yes, exactly, the blue domes. And then when you're done with all of your ports, you have a nice couple of relaxing days before you head back home on your flight, and our motor coach or transportation greets you at the airport to whisk you back to Connecticut. So, and on this, the pricing starts at like, I think, what was it? $28.99.
Yep.
Yes, $28.99 per person. I mean, that's such a great value because that includes your flights round trip Barcelona. So, and then even if you wanted to do an outside cabin, you're not talking about much more money from there, a
And of
couple $100.
And of course, on here, this is the ship. Again, it's a little bit smaller than some of
Yes.
the others. You can get a feel, 11 decks, 8 different whirlpools, the bars and lounges. So lots included on this trip, 14 days, round trip transportation to the airport. Your flights, as Donna said, to Barcelona, 12 nights on board the Vision of the Seas, all your meals, your activities. They've got a great theater on board, so entertainment. And this staff, they get to know you so well because, again, there's less passengers, and it's wonderful when you're getting off in some of these ports and going on your shore excursions. So
Yeah.
this is actually an example. That's the Symphony of the Sea, and in the I believe 2019, July of 2019, the other owner of Friendship Tours, that's my twin sister, who I know you could tell if you were looking at our pictures, we're identical, not really, but her family, and they had come off of the Symphony. Now the Symphony is an Oasis class ship, so every port they had, like 22 buses and all these things all waiting. Well, you're going to have this great experience where you come off the ship, you're much more personalized, so really, really nice. We've had a lot of groups sail on the Vision, and they always come back just raving about the crew and how nice it was to get in and out. Of course, these are some of those sites that you'll see. Florence is one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Greece and Rome on this itinerary, you just can't beat it. And so these are just a couple of those things that you'll see. So then, Gail, I know we're super excited to have the Oasis coming to New Jersey.
Wow, we are very excited too. In fact, a little tidbit of information. It is a very, very large ship, and what we had to do is we had to do a protracted, what's it called? Not steam. What's it called? To come down to go under the bridge. We had to protract not the steam ship. I'm forgetting the
Yeah,
name.
the smokestacks or the.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So it was like a really big deal. And the first people who were going on the Oasis actually saw it and said it was just breathtaking. Thank you so much for helping me with that word.
That's
Anyway,
all right.
this is very exciting for us because Bayonne is so easy to get to. And I know you've got your clients on that ship right now. They must be so
Yes.
excited. And one of the things is we have a spectacular aqua show on the Oasis and also the ice skating show. But we are just thrilled that it's right in our backyard. That's the most exciting thing about the Oasis.
Yes.
The Oasis was game changing in the industry. When she came out, there was nothing quite like her. And Donna, I know some of the times we hear about the amount of people that are on the Oasis, but I know you and Amy and Natalie, the
Yes.
one thing everybody said when they came back is you don't really notice it because it's unique. It's divided
No.
into neighborhoods, correct?
Yes, it's the first ship with 7 distinct different neighborhoods, and it's the very first ship where they actually had 7 different godmothers. So it's kind of interesting where ships normally have 1. They decided that since this is so innovative, we're going to do 7 godmothers, and we're going to create this experience where you can see cabins that look into the boardwalk area there. You can also see off the back of the ship from those cabins and view the Aqua Theater show right from your cabin,
So-
which my kids sat out there every night looking at the Aqua Theater and they loved it. So it's an amazing high dive performance show with a pool that has a bottom that is raised and lowered by, it is actually somebody's job to make sure that the water, that the bottom of the pool is easily lowered so they could do the high dives from, I don't even know how many hundreds of feet. It's crazy high. And then they also have it so that they can dance in the water, and it's all outdoors looking off the back of the ship, and all you see is the sunset and everything. And it's really, really awesome.
So this is some of that innovation we were talking about. These are some pictures that Donna and Amy actually had taken.
Yes.
So these are actually our pictures, not Royal Caribbean's. But so this is an example of Central Park, which is one of the neighborhoods that's in the middle of the ship. So there's lots of unique spaces all over to enjoy. So it's kind of like in a city. People always go, a lot of people in a city, but everyone has their neighborhoods and their places that they love to go. This is that wonderful show that Donna was just explaining a little bit about that makes this class of ship so unique. But this would be more of Central Park. So you really do have these great spaces. And
Yes.
I'm going to just go back to the flyer on this for a second, because this is leaving in May. It is a great price that makes this really unique. You get to experience the ship, the Bahamas, and of course, Florida, and Coco Cay, which is the private island that Royal Caribbean has. And I know, Gail, that's one of you really truly love that day that they stop and it's everybody at Coco Cay. Do you have a quick little story about
I
that?
certainly do. So the reason it's called Perfect Day at Coco Cay is this was an island and we wanted to transform it. And so what we did is we sent out emails to all our travel partners, our travel agents, to say, what would be a perfect day for you in the Caribbean? Like, what would be so much fun? And we got all this fantastic feedback, and we took feedback and we created a perfect day. We have a helium balloon that goes up that is absolutely so much fun. I was on it singing Up, Up and Away from the 5th Dimension. It was so much fun. We have the most delicious food. We have about 4 or 5 different places. We have snack shacks. We also have these 2 fantastic dining areas. We also have overwater bungalows that you can stay in. You do have to pay a little extra, but they're quite something. We also have slides, the biggest water slides in the Caribbean. and they are not for the faint of heart. We have some that are just absolutely crazy, and then we have other ones that are much easier. But there is something for everybody. And even when you get on perfect day, there's a little trolley that'll take you all the way around the island and make sure that you get to see all of the island. And we also have, which I think is the best, we have water wheelchairs so people can rent, so that they can actually go into the water with their wheelchairs, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So as usual, Royal Caribbean has created something for everybody, and it is so much fun.
So
And
Donna,
magical.
do you want to just talk about the highlights on this one? Because if you're going to book it, you
Sure.
just go to friendshiptours.net. You'll get all the information, and then you can either give us a call. Donna and Barb
Absolutely.
can help, and this is what you would do.
So yes, give us a call and Barbara, I will help you out. We'll talk about what type of cabins are available, what your special desires are, any special dietary needs. We go through everything. And again, our transportation is included to New Jersey. So it's a real easy vacation for you. And it's such a fun ship. You're just on a floating resort for 8 days. So one of my all-time favorite ships, when they added recently, they did a multi-million-dollar renovation on the Oasis. They added those two big twirly slides to the end. They actually are not as bad as they look, because I've done it myself. They go from deck 16 to deck 6. And I always joke around, I say, because when you're done on the sports deck and you've played your games on the sports deck, you take the slide down to the margarita bar and you grab yourself a margarita. So it's really a fun 7 nights to get away to the Bahamas and then back to New Jersey.
So lots of great things, and these are just, again, some of the pictures that you might see on board. And of course, they've got the casino for those that are gaming. I know we're
Oh,
opening
yes.
the new sports betting in Connecticut, so lots of people. Now, one of the trips that we've done that has been one of our most successful has been our transatlantic cruises. There's something romantic about flying over to Europe, then sailing back, but the itineraries that are done at this time of year when they're moving the ships from Europe over to the United States, usually they'll then do Canada, New England itineraries. So they get these wonderful itineraries. And so it's back, our escorted. We always have our staff members actually on board. I've done this myself actually multiple times with groups. And on this particular one, we're going to be sailing from Copenhagen and making our way to Boston, September 3 through 15. And some of those stops are going to be in Norway, Iceland, not only Reykjavik, but also the most northern port up in Akureyri. And then new is Greenland. So with climate getting warmer and things, they actually now are going and stopping in Iceland or in Greenland. And it's really a unique country to see because of the ice calving that's happening there, the change in some of the different levels. It's definitely something you want to see. And this is an itinerary that sells out all the time. Now, Donna, we have some special things with this itinerary. Do you want to talk a little bit about?
We do. So what the special things is that Royal Caribbean, we grabbed this space before it was even available to the public. And so with our contacts and help at Royal Caribbean, we were able to grab cabins. And right now we are really probably the only agency that has availability on this sailing, or at least at the price we have it at. So 16 days starting at $29.99. In this case, you have one-way air, so we don't have to fly round trip, which is really nice. You fly out to Copenhagen from Boston. So our transportation is included from Boston, and then we fly over to Copenhagen. So this cruise, like Brett mentioned, is escorted. It has the escorted cruise symbol on the flyer. So when you see that, that means that our tour directors are with you the entire time, not just on the bus to and from your port, as on the other two that we just talked about. So this one, you have a tour director with you the entire time. It will really enhance your trip, answer questions, and have a hospitality desk. And then you start right off in Copenhagen to visiting your ports of Norway, Iceland, and Greenland. And in pointing out that it starts at $29.99, but we also have Ocean View that are, I believe, $32.99. I mean, it's a very, very good rate. And so I think that everybody will understand that for 16 days at that price. That's why these repositioning cruises are awesome. And as you're traveling back across the Atlantic, you are, getting back acclimated to the time zone. So they change your clock. It's one of my favorite things is like every night you get to, on the last so many days, you get to change your clock back an hour and an extra hour of sleep. And by the time you land in Boston, you're back on Eastern time. So
So you
that
do
is
away
so
with
much
that jet
fun.
lag, right?
That's right. You're back, and it's so easy and you get that extra hour of sleep. It's fun.
And so on this screen, you can see all the wonderful things that are included. And um, it's one of our favorite. It's really dear to our heart. We've done it many times. These are some of the pictures that I took the last time, or one of the times that I was um, in Iceland. It's just a magical area. Norway, the fjords are gorgeous. They're some of the best reflective photography anywhere in the world. But in Iceland, you actually can stand on both the American and European plates. So you can basically be in two continents at one time. Really, really neat. And of course, the geysers and everything. So it's just a magical place. And these are a couple pictures. We've had lots of groups. You'll actually travel over the Arctic Circle. And when you do so, they do a big party called a Blue Nose Party. You'll learn all about that. And actually, on my second time going through, I actually got engaged. So I met my wife on a transatlantic cruise, and then we got engaged on the Radiance of the Seas on an itinerary very similar. So you never know what might happen on one of these great tours. We've got lots of exciting activities. Now, Donna, I know we also have an itinerary that isn't listed yet that's going to
Yes,
be on our
it is
website in
going
the
to
next couple
be.
weeks.
Absolutely. So it's a November of 2022 7-night cruise from Tampa, round trip from Tampa. It's on the Serenade of the Seas, which is a Radiance class ship, medium-sized ship where you really feel like you're part of the outside. They have so much glass and great spots to view the ocean. It's doing the Western Caribbean. So a lot of people have not been to Roatan or Belize or to Costa Maya and Cozumel. So we wanted to feature a 7-day itinerary, something a little bit different. And I believe that price is really reasonable. If I'm not mistaken, I think it starts at like $14.99, including your air. So it's a very good value, good time to get away out of Connecticut. But so that will be up on our website very soon. Yes.
And so I know that's a brief kind of walk around some of what's happening in the world of Royal Caribbean. Gail, I know there are some exciting new ships that are coming out. Is there anything else that you feel like we should update before we end this version of State of the Seas?
Well, I think that every 3 years we actually come out with a new ship, and the Wonder of the Seas is coming out next year, and everybody is all excited about that because it's going to be an ultra oasis ship, and it is going to be. We saw a few little pictures and samplings of the ship ahead of time, but it's going to be something more unusual than any other ship that we've had. So we're very, very excited about that. But we're all already gearing up for 2024 and 2027 with new ships. Like the Icon class is going to be a new class of ship that we're coming out with. So we're always looking towards the future. So we're very excited about that. But the best part is we love all our ships in our fleet. And again, there's something for everybody. And that's what makes us so special.
Well, it sounds like with Royal Caribbean, the State of the Seas is strong. And if they aren't yet booked for 2022, they definitely want to be taking a look. And again, feel free to go to friendshiptours.net and you can see all of these offerings that we talked about today and lots of others. So thank you guys for joining us today. Gail, really appreciate you jumping on the call and lending a little bit of the information, and Donna and Barb in the ship shop. And we look forward to serving everybody again and seeing you all soon. In our next edition, I'm actually bringing a group to Europe in just a couple days, and we'll share a little bit about what that's like going across the pond and all those fun things that happen there. So we'll look forward to seeing you on another edition of State of the Seas, and have a great rest of the day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.